to put on the Macau Grand Prix. Introduce to the drivers that are about to compete for the top step of the podium for the Macau Grand Prix.
And a long word with Charles Lerner there, who's going for back-to-back wins. And of course, it was a Macau driver 1-2 last year. It's going to be a battle between two Macau drivers this year. So this almost grudge match between Charles Lerner and Andy Chang. And the two of them are going to line up on the front row of the grid for this year's Grand Prix. The battle continues between them.
So the drums start. And we're about to enjoy the lion dance. Here we go, presented with the paint. Just dotting the I's on the lion and the tongue of the lion and the blessing. And now we can enjoy the spectacle of the lion dance. Amazing spectacle ahead of the 2021 68th Macau Grand Prix, and a very traditional thing to enjoy as well. Incredible athleticism from the dancers in the lion dance.
And the choreography, of course, when you're completely shrouded in the costume, and there are two of you, and you're jumping on and off somebody's shoulders.
It
is very, very impressive indeed, yes. And as the dignitaries retire then to their seating area, we continue the countdown to this 68th Macau Grand Prix, the SJM Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix, set to get underway. 12 laps, the second year that we've had Formula 4 single-seaters, continuing a trend of Formula 3 that took over from Formula Pacific. But this tremendous lineage the Grand Prix has got continues, and wonderful that the event, again, in spite of everything, the fate of everything that's thrown at the world, is still booming.
And having joined the Chief Executive of the Macau Special Administrative Region, Ho Yat Seng, as we said, Oh Leong Yu, the Secretary for Social Affairs and Culture for the Macau Special Administrative Region Government, are also joined by the President of the Sports Bureau of the Macau Special Administrative Region Government, Pu Wen Kun. All three of them take their place in the grandstand just beside the grid, just to the right-hand side, and that very, very busy throng of people over the next few minutes will begin to diminish, to allow the drivers to begin to focus on the matter in hand, which is 12 laps around the gear circuit here at Macau. The only race over the course of the Macau Grand Prix weekend for single-seaters. Huge amount of prestige.
And the nature of the event this year means that, of course, the drivers come not only as single-seater hotshots, but also because Formula 4 is perhaps more accessible and it's perhaps easier for some of the older drivers to take part in. You've got drivers that are a little older than you might anticipate, some in their 30s or 40s or even 50s, but they are on the grid for the Grand Prix itself. They might have been regulars in the touring car or GT or sport races, but never before has it been as accessible for some of the local drivers to be on the grid for the main race itself.
Just coming up to 3:15 in the afternoon here at Macau, and a very, very busy grid. Some very lucky guests that have got the opportunity to be down on the grid to savour the atmosphere in the build-up for the starts of the race. 12 laps in prospect around the Macau circuit, and Charles Leung attempting to do what few have achieved before, and that's to take 2 titles in the Macau Grand Prix, and to do them back to back would be very, very impressive. The crowds, of course, are here at Macau. They were here last year in the Grand
Be able to make it at all because Charles so impressive last year to withstand the late race pressure. It's worth making a point, Alan, that last year's race, yes, it was won by Charles Leung, but they were virtually one 8-wheel car, so close were they when they came across the line.
And how proud were they, local drivers, Macau drivers, to be standing on the top step of the podium at your huge local event. By local, I mean from the region, the special administrative region of Macau, and a hugely proud moment to have a national standing on the top step of the podium. Can it happen 2 years running? We are about to find out, because they are about to be released on their warming up lap, their formation lap, ahead of 12 laps around the Macau circuit. So this is the point that the drivers for the last half an hour would have been looking forward to, the moment that they and the cars are left to get on with the job.
Everybody with the same car, everybody with the same engine, everybody with the same tyre. It is down to the team, your engineer and you to get the best out of that grid for today, but it is all now down to you. All the data has given you the car set up as it should be, and now there is this final formation lap, this final warming up lap before we get to the 68th Macau Grand Prix itself, the SJM Formula 4 Macau Grand Prix. The cars then through the first left-hander of Reservoir Bend, and look how much vigorous weaving is going on, and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see a little bit more of that on the first lap as drivers try to break the toe and try therefore not to enable the driver behind to slipstream them on the way towards Lisboa. They go through Mandarin Bend, the next right, and then down towards Lisboa itself, that sharp, tight, crucial 90 right-hander.
Did you notice as well that Charles Leung very, very much lit up the tyres of his grid spot to begin the process of getting as much heat into the tyres as he possibly could. The weaving process that they're all going through, that all helps, but if you start the process nice and early, light up the tyres off the grid, and that puts you immediately at potentially a bit of an advantage, something you can do very easily from the very front row of the grid. You've got no cars in front. So it's one of the advantages to starting on the front row of the grid.
And drivers like Charles Leung and Andy Chang pushing on for the first half of this green flag lap, just like we saw yesterday. The idea being to go as fast as you can, to get as much temperature into the tyres as you can, but then expect Charles Leung, like he did yesterday, to throttle right back so that the field bunches up, so that he's not sat on the grid for so long that the warmth that he's just got into the tyres, and indeed through into the brakes, then is dissipated. Then it's all a bit self-defeating. So the cars come through this mid part of the lap. We're going to get battles, of course, up and down the field, but the main focus is on this grudge match, if you like, between the two local drivers. Each wants to win this, each wants to beat the other, and Charles Leung, victorious last year, is looking for back-to-back wins, but it ain't going to be easy.
So the tension rises, but now the drivers can begin to get on with the first process of this Macau Grand Prix, the all-important process of getting everything.
Yeah. So has it relit the fire, and tell us about your race today?
Yeah, it was all the way perfect from Zhuhai, which is quite amazing in some way. Like, I don't really have a mechanical failure. Yeah, like everything just going fine. Like I have never thought that everything will be that like going to my side.
Season racing against these guys.
Yeah, race at Macau definitely means a lot to me since I'm watching it from very young, and be back here again, it's amazing, and be back here to get a podium again, also amazing. So hopefully this luck can carry me through next season too. So hopefully come back again.
We'd love to have you. Could we have that in Chinese, please?
今年能够再次回到这个澳门大奖赛也是非常的幸运。然后，其实来这里比赛，因为从小也是看这里比赛嘛，然后，能再一次回来比赛，又再一次站上领奖台，也还是非常的幸运。所以，希望明年能够再回来，然后再挑战一下前面两位非常快的车手。
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to